Welcome, you guys. I'm so glad you're here. We'll begin today in a comfortable seat. Can look a lot of different ways, no right or wrong. As long as you can feel the sit bones ground. And again, not grounding, because that's what you usually hear, but grounding to feel connection to the earth. And then bring your awareness to the spine as you stack each vertebra over the other, sitting a little taller and fully arriving. Notice the breath. Notice where you feel it most predominantly. Is it at the nose? The rise and fall of the chest? The expanding belly? We'll come together and breathe. So exhale completely. Inhale through the nose for 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold at the top. Exhale, loud ha sound for 4. Breathless. Inhale through the nose for 4. Pause. Exhale, loud ha. Pause. Inhale for 4. Hold. Transition this time. Exhale through the nose for 4. Same richness in breath and the vibration across the back of the throat. Inhale. Hold. Exhale. Pause. Allow the breath to fall at its natural rhythm. Maybe gently close the eyes if they're not already closed, and bring the hands to heart center in prayer. As you sit a little taller and find gratitude for your body just being in the space, align your practice with a purpose. You can still be who you were meant to be without meeting others' expectations of you. We'll seal our intentions with a deep breath in and a slow breath out. Gently blink open the eyes, and we'll make our way to all fours. Slowly as you need. And then hands directly beneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips, coming into cat-cow. Inhale, heart forward, gaze forward, belly drops, tailbone lifts. Exhale, spine high, hollowing out the belly, tucking the tail, maybe the chin. Inhale, heart forward, gaze forward, belly drops. Exhale, spine high. Inhale, heart forward, gaze forward. And as you exhale, come to a neutral spine, tuck the toes and press back, downward facing dog. Almost in slow motion, maybe with exaggerated grace. And then once you've arrived, find a little movement here. Walking out the legs, maybe shaking the head, yes and no. Gathering information. And then we'll move together. Inhale, high to the toes. As you exhale, send the heels to the right side of the mat, getting long through the left side body. Maybe bending the right knee, pressing down a little more firmly through the left palm, sending the left hip away from you. Breathe. And release back to center. Inhale, hips, heels high. Exhale, heels to the left side. Maybe bending that left knee. Pressing the right hip away from you. Feeling the length in the right side body here. Then release back to center. Inhale, hips and heels high, and then send the heels straight back towards the mat. They may touch, they may not. Just feeling the opening in the back of the legs. And hips and heels high with your inhale. Shift the gaze forward and slowly walk the feet all the way up to your forward fold. Lift, hover, step. Lift, hover, step. Then release the upper body, maybe grabbing opposite elbows into ragdoll, relaxing the neck and the jaw. And if it feels good here, you can interlace the fingers behind the low back and send the knuckles to the sky, but only if the shoulders feel up to it. And gentle, just warming up. And release the hands to the mat and come into a deep knee bend. Purpose of this knee bend here is twofold, and that's to still gather information so we can see what feels good here. And then the second reason is to allow the blood to rush out of the head. So make sure you give yourself a moment to lift the head. We're going to stand up soon, and I don't want anyone to pass out. And then release the heels to the mat, hips high, rotate the palms. Inhale, sweep the arms all the way up to standing, arms overhead. Come into cactus, the arms here, or if you'd like for a little more support, you can bring the hands to the low back, coming into our first back bend. Feet a little further apart. Feel as if the heels are pulling away from you. Engage the thighs, zip up the core, lift the heart. And as you exhale, come into your first gentle back bend. Lower tips of the shoulder blades kissing the spine as you create a shelf on the back to lift the heart. One more inch. And then release. Back to center, arms by your sides. Inhale, arms sweep high. Exhale and fold. Inhale to a long spine, fingertips by the toes. As you exhale, deep bend in the knees and giant step back with the right foot, coming into your lunge. We'll drop the back knee down and untuck the toes, pressing down through the top of the foot and the shin, bring the hips forward and down. Little hip flexor stretch here, and it can be as intense as you'd like. So you can stay right here. Maybe bowing the head towards the knee to deepen, or pressing down through the shin a little more firmly. Breathe. And then release. Extend the left leg straight, shifting the weight back over the right knee. Leave the toes down, pressing down firmly into the mat at first. And you can use your blocks here to support the upper body. And then maybe flexing the toes back towards the face, isolating the hamstrings. Little pumping motion here if that feels good. Or find stillness where the body needs it. And then release, put a deep bend, or put the bend back into that left knee. Inhale, arms and body sweep high, but still shift the weight over the right knee. Left hand to the hip here. As you get long through the right side body, tuck the tail just enough, and then up and over towards the left with the right hand. Getting long from the knee to the fingertips. And then release. We'll come back into our modified lunge. Tuck the toes under, full lunge. Inhale. As you exhale, plant the palms, step the left foot back, downward facing dog. Inhale, come forward into plank, belly button to spine, drop down to the knees, or you can stay high here. And we're gonna do a little repetitive joint movement here. So as you exhale, if you're up high, go to down dog. If you're down low, child's pose. Inhale forward to modified plank or plank. Exhale back, child's pose or down dog. Inhale forward. Exhale back. Inhale forward and hold. Then as you exhale, one solid piece as you slowly lower all the way down to the mat. We're coming into our first baby cobra. So palms under the shoulders, toes are untucked, tops of the feet grounding, thighs engaged, lifting the knees off the mat. Exhale. Then as you inhale, press down through the palms, lifting the heart and forehead off the mat. Shoulders down away from the ears as you ground down really firmly to lift the heart. One more inch. And then release, forehead down. Inhale. As you exhale, press up to all fours and send the hips back to the heels, extended child's pose. Stay here for just a moment. So find a place of rest. Knees can be close or splayed open, wherever feels most comfortable for you. Knowing you can come here at any point throughout your practice. And with your next inhale, press down through the palms, come up to all fours. Tuck the toes, send the hips back and high, downward facing dog. Inhale, high to the toes, right leg sweeps high. Hips square to the mat here, and then knee tight to the chest as you shift the weight and the gaze forward, taking a giant step through, right foot to right thumb. Maybe inching the foot a little forward or taking as many steps as you need to find your alignment, right knee over the ankle coming into your lunge. I like to use blocks here to help support the upper body. So left heel away from you, left thigh engaged, taking every bit of bend out of the knee, core engaged, reaching the heart forward. Maybe the hips sit just a little lower. As you set the blocks to your sides, feel the feet pull to each other, integrating the legs into the hips. Exhale. Then as you inhale, left foot steps up to meet the right. Exhale and fold. Rotate the palms. Inhale, sweep the arms all the way up to standing. Arms overhead. Come into another back bend here. You can leave the hands high, cactus the arms, or bring them to the low back. Feet feeling as if the heels feeling as if they're pulling away from each other. Thighs engaged, belly button to spine, heart lifting. And then as you exhale, send the gaze to the sky. Breathe here as you feel an opening in the front side of the body, making sure not to crunch into the low back. Maybe the gaze shifts, finding your edge. Then release. Sweep the arms high, then send the hips back, then low, coming into your chair. At the deepest here, the thighs are parallel to the mat. The heart lifts high as the hips lower. Now, we are squatting here. Your glutes are engaged and sticking out, but make sure there's not an arch in the low back by bringing the tailbone down, just noticing you don't want it to round and overcorrect, but just make sure you're not arching that low back. Breathe. And then release, forward fold. Inhale, long spine. As you exhale, bend the knees, giant step back with the left foot, coming into your lunge here. Once that right knee is over the ankle, drop the back knee down, untuck the toes, and send the hips forward and down. Noticing the difference on this side. Maybe you need something different. You can bow the head or press down through the shin to deepen. And then release. We'll extend that right leg, and I use my blocks to support the upper body. Press down through the toes at first, and then maybe flexing the toes back, maybe pumping, just noticing what you need on this side. And then release. Press the right foot down, bend the right knee, inhale, arms and body sweep high. Right hand to the hip this time. Then shift the weight, make sure it's over the left knee, tuck the tailbone down, inhale, lift the heart. And then up and over towards the right with the left hand. Shoulders down away from the ears. Core just lightly engaged. Feeling the opening on the left side body here. And then release. We'll plant the hands down. Modified lunge. Tuck the toes under, full lunge. Inhale. As you exhale, right foot steps back, downward facing dog. Inhale, come forward to plank. And then you can always drop the knees down to modify. Otherwise, solid piece from the heels to the crown of the head. Slowly lower all the way down to your belly. Untuck the toes, coming into our second baby cobra. So you can pop up to the fingertips here. Elbows squeezing in tight to the body. You can also leave the palms down if that's where you are. Feet grounding down, thighs engaged. Exhale. As you inhale, press down into the mat as the forehead and the heart lift. Reaching forward, shoulders down away from the ears, grounding down through all 10 toes. And then release, forehead down. Plant the palms underneath the shoulders. Tuck the toes under and engage the thighs, lifting the knees. You can stay right here for this press up, or to modify, leave the knees down and we'll push up to a modified plank. Inhale. At the bottom of your exhale, press up to your plank and hold. Belly button to spine, inhale. Exhale, press back, downward facing dog. Inhale, high to the toes, left leg sweeps high. Hips square to the mat as that left heel reaches 1 more inch up and out. And then knee tight to the chest as you shift the weight and the gaze forward, coming into your lunge. Giant step through with the left foot on this side. Finding that left knee over the ankle, taking as many steps as you need. Maybe your block's here for support, maybe not. And noticing how this lunge feels, maybe completely different. Right heel pressing away from you. Belly button to spine. Crown of the head reaching forward. Breathe. And hands to the mat, exhale. Maybe the hips come to the lowest. And as you inhale, right foot steps up to meet the left. Exhale, fold. Rotate the palms, bend the knees. Inhale, sweep the arms all the way up to standing. Send the hips back, then bend the knees, coming into your chair. You should always be able to see the big toes here. So come as deep as you'd like, but make sure you can still see them. And the weight is in the heels, but the toes are still grounded. Heart lifts a little higher. Then bring the hands together at heart center in prayer. Shift the weight into the left foot. Listen carefully. Send the right foot forward. Maybe work towards straightening the leg, foot flexed or pointed. And then in slow motion, bend the knee, giant step back, gaze steady, coming into your lunge. When you've arrived, send the arms back, palms down like wings. Inhale, arms and body sweep high, crescent lunge. We'll stay right here. Focus on your alignment, hips square to the front, right thigh engaged. No bend in that right knee. And then maybe the left knee bends a little as the heart lifts, sending the chest towards the sky. And then release the palms down to the mat. Listen carefully. Step the left foot back to plank or just before and hold. And slowly lower chaturanga, hold. And then slowly lower all the way down. Untucking the toes here. And we'll come into up dog, or I'll talk through up dog, but you can always repeat Cobra again. Hands a little closer to the belly button this time. Ground down through the low body. And then as you inhale, press down through the mat. Neck is still just an extension of the spine. So you're not crunching into the neck, looking up. Gaze straight ahead as you find strength. And then tuck the toes under. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, come high to the toes. Right leg sweeps high. Exhale, right foot to right thumb. So giant step through, finding your lunge. Grounding the left palm. Bringing the right hand to the knee and coming into a twist on this side. So you can use your thigh for leverage, stacking the right shoulder over the left, but be really gentle here. If the shoulder's okay and the body's calling for it, maybe you can extend the right arm. To modify here, you can always drop down to the knee. Sometimes that helps with stability, but it's also a different pose. It might actually deepen a hip opening here. You want the hips square to the mat, right arm reaching, maybe the gaze shifts towards the sky at the end. And then release. Right hand down to the mat. Listen carefully here. I'm gonna pop up, shift the weight forward into the right foot, coming into half moon. So both hands are still grounded. You can grab a block here to extend the arm, but then stack the left hip over the right, bringing the left hand to the hip here. Maybe the left hand extends to the sky. Left thigh is just as strong as the right here. Core engaged, long spine, long through both side bodies. And then release the left arm down, square off the hips, and in slow motion, lower the left leg to the mat. Deep bend in the knees here. So you allow the blood to rush out of the head if you need it. And then lower the heels, lift the hips, inhale, sweep the arms all the way up to standing. Send the hips back, and deep bend in the knees coming into your chair. Hands to heart center in prayer as you shift the weight to the right foot. Gently send the left foot forward. And then slow motion, giant step back with the left foot. Coming into your lunge. Allowing the hands to spread back like wings, palms down. Inhale, arms and body sweep high. Right knee over the ankle, left heel pressing away from you. Breathe and notice. Maybe the gaze shifts, shoulders down onto the back, creating a shelf to lift the heart 1 more inch. Then release the hands to the mat. Step the right foot back to plank, and you can always modify in any form you'd like here. Exhale, lower, chaturanga. Inhale, straight into upward facing dog. Exhale, back, downward facing dog. Deep breath in, slow breath out. Inhale, high to the toes, left leg sweeps high. As you exhale, giant step through, left foot, left thumb. Take your time getting there. And then once you've arrived, plant the right hand onto the mat, then bring the left hand to the thigh or the knee, pressing down into that knee, allowing the left shoulder to move towards stacking over the right while the hips stay square to the mat. Breathe here, and then maybe extending the left arm high if the body is calling for it. Notice and listen. And then release the left arm down. And then shifting the weight into that left foot, lift the right, straight and strong through that right leg as you stack the right hip over the left, maybe grabbing a block to support a straight spine, right hand to the hip. Then shoulders move towards stacking. Core engaged, long through both side bodies, maybe the right arm lifts. Gaze is steady. Breathe for 3. Right heel lifts another inch for 2. Then release the right hand to the mat. Square off the hips to the mat and slowly lower the right leg, the right foot to meet the left. Exhale, fold. Then one more opportunity for a knee bend here to lift the head. Prepare to stand. Then heels down to the mat, back into your fold. Rotate the palms. Inhale, sweep the arms all the way up to standing. Then arms by your sides. Do a few standing postures here. So I'm going to rotate once to the left. We'll find mountain pose and allow ourselves to fully re-arrive. Feet beneath the hips. All 4 corners of each foot ground. A little bend in the knees. And then engaging the thighs, belly button to spine, ribs knit down and back. Hold that integration in the core as you get long through the sides of the body, lifting the heart. Shoulders down away from the ears, lower tips of the shoulder blades touch the spine. Triceps wrap towards the body, maybe the palms rotate forward in that motion. And then gently bring the jawline back, aligning the neck with the spine. Take a deep breath in. Slow breath out. Blink open the eyes and inhale, sweep the arms high. As you exhale, giant step out with the left foot. Feet parallel to each other, arms parallel to the mat. On the right heel, pivot the right toes to face the front of the mat, gaze over the right fingertips. Inhale, zip up the core. Then as you exhale, giant bend or deep bend in the right knee. So it's stacked right over the ankle. You should be able to glance down and see your big toes. There's a tendency to lean forward here. So feel as if someone is pulling on the back, pulling you back with your left hand, stacking the shoulders over the hips. Crown of the head lifting as maybe you sit a little lower. Then straighten the lead leg and reach forward with the right hand until you can't reach forward any longer. Then hinge at the waist, allowing the right arm to drop, left arm to lift, coming into your triangle here. The right hand can find the foot, the mat, maybe a block or your shin. But you want to make sure you're not crunching into that right side in this triangle. Long through both side bodies, find length. So if it means coming up out of it a little bit to experience that, do it. The gaze can be wherever you'd like, the ground, straight in front of you or towards the sky. Just make sure it's steady. And then we'll release here, micro bend in that right knee. Inhale, back to your warrior two. And then reach forward again. This time, inhale, lift and reverse the warrior. Left hand relaxes on the back of the left thigh as the right arm reaches towards the sky. Feel as if your right hip is pressing down and lowering as the fingertips reach even higher, creating a little more length. And then release again, warrior two. Straighten the lead leg. Pivot the right toes so they're back parallel to the other foot. And then on the left foot, pivot the toes to the back. Stack the shoulders over the hips. Inhale, lift the heart. Then as you exhale, warrior two on this side. You can find your place and notice the difference. Little nuances. You shift the weight a little more into the outside of the right foot. Arms straight and strong, pulling into their sockets. Feet pulling towards each other as the hips sit a little lower. Energy up through the earth, through the entire body and out through the fingertips and the crown of the head. Breathe, one full cycle of breath here. And then straighten the lead leg and reach forward as much as you can. And when you can't any further, hinge, allowing the left hand to come to the shin, the block, the foot or the floor. Right arm reaching high. Long through the side bodies here. Feel the feet ground a little more firmly, maybe pulling towards each other, engaging the spine and allowing the right shoulder, if it feels good, to open, lifting the heart towards the sky. We'll release by putting a little micro bend in that front leg, coming back up, find warrior two. Then reach the left hand forward, flip the palm and lift the left arm high with your inhale, relaxing the right arm on the back of the right thigh, making sure that right or the left knee isn't caving in, stacking it back over the ankle. Feet pulling towards each other, finding strength and beauty right where you are. And then release, finding your warrior two, straightening the left leg and pivoting the left toes. Find a forward fold here. So engage the core and hinge forward with a straight spine, allowing the hands to come to the floor, maybe a block for support. We'll be here for just a moment. Little bend in the knees is great here. But find what you need to serve you. One more breath. And release. Come back to the fingertips here and bend the right knee, sending the weight into the right foot. Send the left toes to the sky here. So just rotating the toes up. And then we'll shift to the left. So toes plant back where they were, like in your wide fold. Shift the weight to the left and lift the right toes to the sky. My left heel lifts here, so allow that. Breathe. And plant the right foot back down, and then keep the feet planted as you just walk the hands back and forth. Getting a little stretch in the inside of the thighs. And then back to center, heel toe the feet towards each other. And bend the knees, come down to your mat. And we'll make our way onto our bellies. Head towards the top of the mat here. Slowly lower, maybe the left cheek rests on the mat, the arms beside you, palms up, untuck the toes, and allow the big toes to touch and the heels to fall open, relaxing the low back. Just an invitation to rest here. And we'll come into Sphinx. So bring the hands underneath the shoulders, press up, and then the elbows directly beneath the shoulders. Forearms parallel to each other, palms planted, fingers wide. The toes can tuck under here with the thighs engaged, or they can stay untucked, pressing down, thighs engaged. So knees are off the mat. Inhale, lift the heart, and then keep the breath moving as you feel the elbows pull towards the hips pull back up towards the elbows, shoulders down away from the ears, jawline back. Breathe. And then release. Right cheek to the mat this time. Arms by your sides, palms up, toes touch, heels fall open. Notice the breath. And bring the chin or forehead to the mat. Plant the palms down onto the mat right where they are, right beside you. Press down through the tops of the feet here, engage the thighs, press down through the palms and allow the heart to lift off the mat. So similar to Cobra, just without the support of the hands, using the strength in the low back, grounding down, and then slowly lifting the arms off the mat, palms down. And then allowing the feet to lift off the mat, maybe finding a little more extension, a little more lift, heart lifting higher than the feet. And then release. Left cheek down, palms up, arms by your sides, toes touch, heels fall open. And then bring the hands underneath the shoulders and press up to all fours. Have one more cat-cow here. So inhale, heart forward, gaze forward. Exhale, spine high. And inhale to a neutral spine. Tuck the toes, exhale, downward facing dog. And we're coming into pigeon on the right side here. So inhale, high to the toes, right leg sweeps. As you exhale, bring the right knee behind the wrist, foot to the left side of the mat. Then inch the left foot back, drop the left knee. Maybe find a little movement in the hips. Notice how they're feeling as you stay high. And we will find a place of rest here in just a moment. So really take notice. Maybe your rest is high. Maybe lower down to the elbows. Maybe lowering the head to the fists. Maybe to a block. Or all the way down to the mat. Notice where the body feels tension. Inhale oxygen to that space. And exhale, let it go. Take one more full cycle of breath right where you are. And then release. You're coming up onto the palms with them underneath the shoulders, inching the left foot forward and coming out of it, re-extending into your downward facing dog, slowly as you need. Maybe re-extending the right leg high. Then come high to the toes, left leg sweeps high. And as you exhale, left knee comes forward and behind the left wrist, foot to the right side of the mat. So you drop the right knee down and inch the hips back, finding your place on this side. Again, staying high at first as you explore, maybe rocking the hips. You're doing something different than you usually do here. And then allow yourself to find a place of rest. Again, you've not committed to doing the exact same thing on this side as you did to the other. This is a whole new experience, completely different posture. So find where you need to be and be okay with holding there. With finding stillness where you are. And using the breath as a tool to release tension. One more full cycle of breath here. And then we'll slowly come out of it. Palms underneath the shoulders, inching the right knee forward, releasing the left leg behind you, coming back into downward facing dog. Maybe re-extending. And coming to all fours and finding your way onto your back. And as slowly as you need. And when you've arrived, bring the knees towards the chest. And give the shins a squeeze. Coming into happy baby here. So 90 degrees behind the knees, soles of the feet to the sky. If you can, grab the outsides of the feet and pull the knees towards the armpits, not elbows. As much as you're pulling down on the feet, kick back into the hands, pressing the low back into the mat. Again, grip around the ankles or shins is perfect here, but as much as you're pulling down, kick back up. And then release the soles of the feet to the mat. Extend the left leg long. Press down through the right foot to shift the weight, or excuse me, shift the hips to the right, just enough. And then take the left hand and guide the right knee across the body towards the left. Right arm extends out by your side. Recline twist. Right shoulder stays grounded if it feels all right. If you need to come out of it, just lift the right knee. Breathe. Notice the breath moving throughout the body, not just at the nose and the belly and the chest, along the sides, moving the hips, expanding the back. Gently release, squaring off the hips, pressing down through that right foot, shift the hips back, re-extending the right leg and bending the left knee. Shifting the hips gently to the left here. And with your right hand, guide the left knee across the body. Recline twist other side. Left arm extends out. Breathe. Noticing the difference on this side. Today, I'm noticing I need a block underneath my knee on the left side. To find comfort, to find rest. Small adjustment here. Maybe to send the left hip down, finding a little more space on the left side. And letting it go if it doesn't serve you. Or just noticing the difference. And then release, slowly come out of it. Left foot to the mat, squaring off the hips. And the right heel to go to the right side of the mat. Left heel to the left corner of the mat. Bring the shoulders a little more underneath you. Turn the toes inward here. One more pose of effort. Flex the feet towards you. Engage the shins and the thighs. Squeeze the glutes and the palms of the hands. Make fists. Flex the biceps, triceps, the chest, the core. Even make a squinchy face. And then release. Let it all go. Allow the toes to fall open. One more adjustment to bring the shoulders a little further underneath you. The palms up. Our final pose, Shavasana. Notice the natural curve in the palms of the hands and then the bottoms of the feet. Maybe the low back, the back of the neck. Relax the space between the eyebrows. Allow the tongue to fall away from the roof of the mouth. Notice the breath. Notice any change from the beginning of class, in the breath or in the body. Knowing that there has been no change, no difference in the amount of support you've gotten from the earth and from the mat beneath you. No matter your state, no matter the emotion running through you, you are completely supported and you have everything you need. Come back to your intention. You can still be exactly who you are meant to be without meeting others' expectations of you. And with your intention, in your mind's eye, allow yourself to come into a way of being that will serve you throughout the rest of your day. Thank you so much for stepping onto your mats and joining me. With love and gratitude, namaste.